Howdy folks, and welcome to another Taste of Gameplay video, this time for the Russian Tier 4 tech tree battleship the Gangut. I wanted to play the Gangut because I played the Niaz Suvorov the other day, and the whole reason I played the Niaz Suvorov was because I wanted to play the Gangut, and if you remember, I mentioned in that video that I wanted to play the Gangut because I often face the Gangut at Tier 4, and it's really well armored, and I wanted to see what it would be like to drive the thing. And I have played the Imperator Nikolai a few times. That'll show up on the channel at some point. So the Ganget really reminds me of that. And we're going to talk about the Ganget, but then we're also going to talk about Tier 4 in general. So the Ganget is a pretty straightforward Tier 4 battleship. It's reasonably maneuverable. It's got big old guns. It has a really long reload of 36 seconds. You are looking for a lot of full pens, if not citadels. You, it seems like, want to be at about a medium range. I've made the mistake of trying to get too close and you get torpedoed by either bots or players. But if you're too far away, then your poor dispersion just does you in. So the interesting thing about playing this game today, and you'll see it, and it's interesting because these videos kind of end up being a bit of a historical record of what's going on in the game at the moment, inadvertently. And you'll see a ton of Yavuzes. Yavuz, which is because this is patch 15.0 and they just put a whole new line of ships into the game, and they went all the way down to tier 4 with a brand new tier 4 battleship. Now that's really interesting to me because they haven't added a tier 4 ship in, I mean, I don't even remember when, like God only knows when. And I just think that's really interesting because I've been playing more low tier games recently for obvious reasons, more than I usually do, which is basically zero. And I've actually been having a lot of fun. This game is no exception. This game's gonna be really fun. I feel like I really have to use my skills. And I've been saying lately that Tier 4 would be a lot of fun if only there were more players. And of course, today there's more players. Now, that's going to go away quickly as people cease to be entertained by this new Tier 4 battleship. I can talk a little bit about that Tier 4 battleship. This is not a video about that ship, but I think the main thing that you need to know when watching this video is that that ship has torpedoes. It has 6 kilometer torpedoes. Apparently, that whole line is going to have torpedoes. I don't know a heck of a lot about it. I haven't had time to look into it yet because I've been making videos about silly tier 4 super old Ganguts. Anyway, yeah, the Gangut lived up to its billing. I'm going to have a really good game. I'm going to, maybe not single-handedly, but I'm going to pull this one back from what seems like it's going to be a defeat, which is always fun. And I'm going to end up doing 91k damage, which is also really fun. I'm going to get into a duel with another tier 4 battleship, I believe one of the new ones, one of the tier 4 new battleships, and I'm going to outduel him, which always feels good. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed my experience in the Ganget. It's, you know, by tier 10 standards, it's very slow, but then they're all slow at this tier. The guns are 305s, but they have good pen, they have good shell velocity. You get plenty of them. They just only fire every 36 seconds, so you have to be really careful. I've mentioned this before, but a trick that I use is to just turn my turrets in a way where I'm not firing them all at the same time. I'm just firing one or a couple of them, just to make it more interesting for myself, and also because I find it to be a good tactic to spread the damage around. Sometimes I'll do things like I'll save one turret for potentially a destroyer that's trying to chase me. I'm going to end up, there's not only that new tier 4 battleship in players' hands in this game, there's me, of course. I think there's a Nassau on my team, there's a Klaus Horn, which is a destroyer, on the other team. But yeah, I think there's like 5 players per team in this game, which is awesome. And most of the ships left now are players. We're definitely losing at this point. We're, how many? 2 ships down, 7-5. And we're 140 points down. Yeah, this is the duel. I'm in a gunnery duel now with this guy off to my right. You'll notice one of the things I'm doing, and I mean, again, these are not videos about how to play World of Warships necessarily, but I like to slip little things in there. One thing I'm doing is I'm isolating, which means, I'm only fighting this one guy at a time. I've positioned myself so that nobody else can attack me, except for that destroyer who will launch a bunch of torpedoes. But in order to address that, I'm just constantly changing speed. Well, actually, I shouldn't say constantly changing speed because that's not effective. Like a random walk just ends up being the average of all the directions that you go in. It's more like a sine wave where you go one direction for a while and then you completely change directions and go the other direction for a while. Tends to throw off the aim. Most of the destroyers at this tier have really slow torpedoes, which helps a lot. Anyway, yeah. One of the issues with the new battleship is that the guns have a lower caliber, and they just have generally reduced characteristics, reduced pen. But this Ganget has old school turrets, man. Old school, high caliber, tier 4 gunnery going on over here. And pretty good alpha. I forget what it is. I think it's like 8,000. It's basically very similar to the Niaz Suvorov. But yeah, I mean, the Gangut's fun, but really what I felt strongly in this game was how much fun the low tiers are when there's players. No offense to the bots, it can be fun to blow up a bunch of bots, but obviously players are more fun. I think oh, no, I'm not the one that killed him, but still, I did like 30k damage to that guy. Anyway, it was looking pretty bad there for a minute. We've sort of equalized now, but I think one of us is going to go down here pretty quickly. But yeah, I have nothing to complain about with the guns except for the fact that it's a 36-second reload. But I've had a lot of people shooting at me this game, and even some of them hitting me, and this ship definitely fits the billing of a tanky battleship. If you angle this thing, it's really hard to get full pens on. I feel like when playing battleships at this tier, and maybe when playing battleships at every tier, sometimes people get Citadel hungry, and I feel like going for full pens is a more consistent way to get in some really good damage. Yeah, see, I'm getting a lot of full pens, and I'm just getting these really good salvos. Yeah, and you'll notice I slowed down about 20 seconds ago. Now, admittedly, it's a little bit of luck, right? I mean, there's no way I could possibly have known that he fired the torpedoes at exactly that moment. He could have anticipated that I would slow down, or he could have fired them later or earlier, but he didn't, you know. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. If you vary your speed, you at least give yourself a fighting chance. I'm going to start to move up and aim for the superstructure at some point here because it's too sharp of an angle. Below 30 degrees, it's a guaranteed bounce. Here he comes. Man, it's so hard. It's so hard to chase battleships, especially at this tier, but really at any tier. I mean, I know he's eventually going to get me, that destroyer, but I've got my secondaries firing on him, and I really just want to take this battleship out, the one in front of me. And I think I'm going to, and I believe I'm even going to get a bonus here. Yep, I'm going to sink both of them. Wait, maybe I don't sink the... Oh, I don't sink the battleship in front of me. Still, I did a lot of damage to him. That's 91,000 damage in a tier 4 battleship, and now it's just 2 on 2. Yeah, and I think we're going to pull this one out, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'll do a little edit, a little cut here, just to skip some of the ending. I believe the final end of this game is an actual ram. But anyway, yeah, so that's the Gangut. It's a really fun ship, and I enjoyed myself, and it really makes me think that it'd be really fun if Tier 4 had players every day instead of just on this day when they're releasing a Tier 4 ship. I mean, I think it'd be great if they released more Tier 4 321 ships. I understand why they don't. Ooh, yeah, I'm top of table. I understand why they don't. I don't think very many people would buy them, especially not for real money. But hey, you can dream, can't you? Anyway, that's the Ganget, and I will see you guys in the next video.